Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowles Central. I was watching my nephew play Spider-Man 2 the other day. He doesn't have a PS5 himself, so this is his first opportunity to play it. I was watching it through fresh eyes.
The eyes, Chico, they never lie.
And it just reminded me how much I love this game. As far as the superhero action game genre goes, to me, this series is some of the pinnacle stuff. Like this and Arkham does it for me. That's how I feel about Spidey 2. So let me take you there, man. Let me take you back in time to a little year called 2023, the year of our Lord.
They fought like warrior poets.
AD 2023, October.
They fought like Scotsmen.
To a little game called Spider-Man 2. Take us there, Spidey. This is a good one, okay? This is a special one because I personally, I don't know about you, but I've been a Marvel fan my whole life, and specifically, I've been a Spider-Man fan my whole life. My brother got me into Spider-Man when I was a kid, got me into comic book reading and comic book collecting, and I still kind of read comic books to this day. Go to all the Marvel movies, you know how it be. This is Spider-Man 2. You might ask, what was Spider-Man 1?
You know how much I sacrificed?
Well, if you're not in the know, Spider-Man 1 was a PS4 exclusive. They did a remaster on PS5, which was just glorious. And then they made a small secondary game about Miles Morales. And that's not just Peter Parker now. If you're familiar with the Spider-Verse cartoon movies.
Hey.
Which are amazing. God, I love those movies. They're so colorful and so cool. You'll know Miles, you'll know his story. This is the sequel to that first PS4 game, and it does not disappoint. I was super excited for this all year long, maybe more than a year.
Literally every day we learn a little bit more.
The world was in a weird place in 2023. Like, everybody was coping in their own way. You know what? I had Spider-Man in October of 2023. This pretty much nails an action-based comic book experience. It doesn't nail it on all fronts. There's still some peculiarities with this specific series, but for the most part, I was willing to overlook them. I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm blind to you, Spider-Man. I'm blind. As a bat. As a spider.
You're as blind as a bat!
Exactly.
A big feature of this game is also the fact that it's got Venom in it. This is a story about the symbiote suit, the black suit, which Peter Parker gets about a third of the way through the game, maybe a quarter of the way through the game. And it sets up all this drama and all this pandemonium. The story's great. If you're used to Spider-Man storytelling, this is a good one. This is one for the ages, especially since it incorporates Miles so beautifully. I love Miles Morales. He's a newer He's a newer Spider-Man character. He's a newer Spider-Man. He was created for the Ultimate Universe in the comic books, and they allowed him to make the jump to the main universe just because he's cool. He comes from a slightly different place from a narrative perspective. He comes from a different cultural background than Pete. Because of what he's been through and who he is, he's just as dedicated to helping out the little guy. He's just as dedicated to this principle that, with great power comes great responsibility. He's a great hero. He's a great Spider-Man. And what's really cool about this game, they're good foils for each other because Peter, he's been around. He's been doing this for over 10 years at this point, as far as I can tell. That's my guess. It's about 10 years. So he's teaching Miles the ropes. He's teaching Miles to be a Spider-Man. And that's a great kickoff for the story, but that's not where the story really ends because as we all know, as soon as this symbiote black suit, this Venom suit gets involved, all bets are off. And things start turning a little bit darker for Peter Parker, and his friends start having to deal with that. So it's a really excellent story. The game looks amazing. I don't think I have to convince you of that. If you have eyes and you are watching this video right now, you can see just how incredible it is. This is like the first PS5 game where my jaw was on the floor. Now, I'll say that God of War Ragnarok was another of those type of experiences, but I feel like this outdoes it.
Have I taught you nothing, boy?
I mean, it's just every moment is epic, even if you're not really doing that much. Even if you're just like sitting on a rooftop, perched, looking out over New York City, it's such a wonderful, full experience. And again, Insomniac Games, the developer, they realized they didn't really have to reinvent the wheel completely. The city, New York, is a little bit bigger. It's got a couple of the boroughs. It's got Queens and Brooklyn now, and I think that Manhattan itself is a little bit bigger, if I'm not mistaken. So there's more to see. There's more to do. My main complaint overall is that some of the time it gets kind of same. And this isn't really necessarily just a problem with this game. This is kind of a problem with all modern open world adventure action games. They have to populate the world with stuff to do. And it gets same. It loses a lot of its variety. And Spider-Man 2 is not really different. The cool thing that Insomniac always understood was that if you have to fight crime on the side, which Spider-Man absolutely does to complete the experience, they should make it so that you're earning ways of like unlocking new suits, because the suits are where it's at, all these cool Spider-Man suits, or unlocking new technology for your web shooters, or giving yourself a health boost, or giving yourself a speed boost, or whatever it is. So doing the side activities means something in the Spider-Man games, but how many times can you stop the same speeding car from almost killing people in the middle of Manhattan? It sounds exciting, and it is, but it is kind of, after a while, it gets kind of the same. And again, this is a complaint about all open world games at this point. It's not just Spider-Man.
A menace!
The action is pretty spectacular. Again, like, there's not much variation between the way the different playables fight. So Miles Morales and Peter Parker fight pretty similarly. Even though their powers are different, it's the same button layout. Like I said, big surprise, Venom is in this game. But again, he kind of, not to spoil too much, even Venom is a little bit samey. Although it's whatever. I'm not gonna spoil it. So that's Spider-Man, man. Like, they've added this wingsuit, these web wings to your spider suit, so that you can now glide a certain ways. And they've added all these kind of wind tunnels throughout the city, so that if you catch one, you get carried
as far as you could ever want to go. You end up in Cleveland, basically, and you end up swinging from shorter buildings and trees. Do they have trees in Cleveland? Trees.
I worried that it was going to take away from the web swinging, because to me, the web swinging, it's the thing that long-standing Spider-Man video game fans know goes all the way back to the original Spider-Man 2.
Where'd you learn to drive?
Which was actually just the game for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 movie. Everybody knows that was like the first time Spider-Man was really done right in a video game. You're still mostly using your standard method of traversing the city plus the web wings. It's a great addition. I have absolutely no complaints about that.
Unless I want to be cynical, which many game commentators are, to no avail, by the way, because when you love nothing, nothing loves you.
Again, I am a Spider-Man fan. Again, my brother really beat that into me gently, with love and with fun, because, you know, they had that awesome Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s. I grew up with that. It showed me all there was to know about this character and about this world. And this game doesn't disappoint on that level either, because there's plenty of side characters and bosses that are just going to be kind of surprising for Spider-Man fans. So, that's what I got to say about Spider-Man 2.
It was great in its day, which was 2 years ago or so, less than 2 years ago. And again, I saw this game being played by my nephew the other day on my PS5, and I was like, oh boy, if only we could get a game like this every week. Can you imagine? Spider Sense, man.
My spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about.
Like, subscribe, drive a car to Cleveland, and start swinging from those narrow rooftops and trees.